It's time for the podcast, the Made for Agriculture podcast. Today's Made for Agriculture host is Emily Beck.
Welcome to the Made for Agriculture podcast. I am your host, Emily Beck, and today we're in Columbia, Missouri at MFA Incorporated's home office. We have a lot of people in this interview today, and so I want to make sure that everybody is recognized. So first up, we have Ashley McCarty. Ashley McCarty is the Executive Director of Missouri Farmers Care, and that is going to be our highlight of today's podcast. Ashley's actually been the director since 2015. She also has her own cattle up in Kirksville on a Century farm. Karson Calvin is on this podcast as an intern. It's a very unique internship since MFA sponsors it for Missouri Farmers Care. We then have Scott Morfeld. Scott Morfeld is going to be on the MFA side. He is our talent and development manager, and he's been that way for 3 years. And he has also gotten these other folks on board with MFA as interns. We have Emily Hoyt, who's been working with him in the human resource area over here at home office. We also have Makenna. Makenna is going to be taking our pictures during this podcast. And also give kind of a background on what she's been doing with our other interns. We then have Allie Norton. Allie Norton was just at home office at the wrong time, but the right time for me, because I kind of brought her into this podcast. She's going to be working agronomy sales this summer as their intern underneath Matt Hill. So Matt Hill might sound familiar because he was in a past podcast of ours whenever we were talking to MDC. He had the Sam Elliott voice, if you remember that. But we're going to dive a little bit deeper into Missouri's Farmers Care and what they're doing in our area just to help our farmers, but also help a lot of other producers on the landscape. And so we're going to start off with Ashley, and we look forward to seeing where this goes. So Ashley.
Absolutely. So Missouri Farmers Care, I would describe as the breadth and depth of Missouri agriculture. If you can think of an area of commodity production, agribusiness, farming and ranching in Missouri, there is a member at the table of Missouri Farmers Care that touches that part of Missouri agriculture. We're from north to south, east to west, and it is everybody at the table, which makes Missouri agriculture unique in that we do regularly come together. We're all pulling for the same aims for the betterment of Missouri agriculture. It is from dairymen to dog breeders, vocational agriculture teachers, agribusinesses such as MFA Incorporated and MFA Oil, and then commodities as vast as we do produce in Missouri, from corn and cattle, pork and soybeans, to sheep and dairy that we see across the landscape. And our goal is really broadly, I would say, we're putting investments in the bank of goodwill of individuals across Missouri so they understand really the heart, the drive, the passion, and the values of Missouri agriculture that we do. Missouri Farmers Care is, I see as a verb. We care about our communities, we care about the next generation, and want to see them thrive, both educationally as well as have the tools to succeed. We're going to talk about some of those programs today. We care about our communities and our economies. Agriculture undergirds everything in every community. So a $93.7 billion industry in the state is absolutely fundamental to the economic health, vitality of our communities, and then the opportunities that we're going to grow looking forward so that our kids, grandkids, the next generation can come back to our hometowns and have a place to fit and have a place to succeed as well. So that's a broad picture of Missouri agriculture, and it could not be done without the coalition that makes up Missouri Farmers Care. So there are 45 organizations that pool their talents, pool their resources, and work together really to see a brighter future for Missouri ag.
Wow, that is a lot. You're definitely getting me motivated, but you're also, telling me this is pretty much the heart of agriculture and how it can really help us, especially with a lot of century farms. I know you're saying that you're a part of a century farm, and those sadly are starting to get sold off, divided up. And so having this organization be there for the next generation, that's going to be really important. So I'm really glad that you guys are on board, but I'm even happier that MFA is a part of this. And so would you like to talk a little bit about the things that MFA is partnering with you all? Because I know Karson, like I had said, I saw that he's been going around to a bunch of FFA camps, and it looked like you're really just voicing the message of MFA, but also Missouri Farmers Care. So yeah.
Yes, absolutely. I would love to dig in. So, one of MFA has been at the table with Missouri Farmers Care since its formation in 2014. And the reason that Missouri agriculture came together, for just a quick step back in history, was there was a challenge to our right to farm. And that led to Amendment 1 that many can remember from that 2014 year. That was a constitutional protection for the right to farm in the state of Missouri, that it shall be a right enshrined in the state constitution. That's something we can all come together. And then we ensure that we're doing, that Missouri agriculture is using best practices and doing everything that we can to be a good neighbor so that that right is never challenged. But one of those things that MFA Incorporated has been a leader in from the beginning would be our Drive to Feed Kids. So this is a year-long effort to raise resources and build awareness. So awareness that farm to table is very important, and Missouri farmers and ranchers are working 365 days a year to put food on the table, both here at home, around the state, and around the world. And despite our productivity and our ever-enhancing productivity to do more with less, right, to use fewer inputs but produce more and more, there's still a disparity, and the disparity is seen across Missouri. It is not a rural nor an urban issue. And this is a staggering, rather disheartening, 1 in 7 Missouri children regularly do not know where their next meal will come from. And so as Alan Wessler, former vice president of MFA, who's now retired, who really carried this as a matter of the heart for him. This was, we had a moral imperative, I think, in his mind, and MFA's leadership has followed that we need to kind of stand in the gap, that despite our productivity, we can't do a lot about that disparity, but we can make sure that those kids are seen, are tended to, and that is exactly what the Drive to Feed Kids has been designed to do. So since its formation in 2017, we've raised well over 12 million meals. And so I think of that in a lot of ways, which we can talk about. I see that as, 12 million brighter days. As Dr. Wessler used to say, it's pretty hard to come to school and to focus and learn and eventually get on a track to become a thriving, happy, productive citizen if your stomach is rumbling and all you can think about is the fact that you haven't had a square meal and don't know when you get home where that meal is going to come from. So that vision led to the formation of the Drive to Feed Kids. And here it is, all these years later, still going strong and growing in impact every year.
Oh yeah, and I know MDC, they also value that very highly as well with their Share the Harvest that they do. I know that's a very big thing. And so there are a lot of different folks trying to bring that to other people's attention and try and get that those stomachs full of food. So yeah, I know, Karson. So whenever you're talking about this, the Missouri Drive to Feed the Kiddos, it's not kiddos but kids. What's kind of the reaction in the room? I guess whenever you're talking about it, is there anybody that is just shocked at the numbers, or is everybody just okay? Yes, this is common knowledge. We're trying to get something figured out.
Yeah, I think there is some shock, and especially to students when I'm talking to them at FFA camp and talking about the different programs in Missouri Farmers Care and talking about really shock and awe on their faces of that 1 in 7 of those students at FFA camp in the state of Missouri are facing food insecurity. So really taking programs and taking steps to help prevent that food insecurity and to give those kids the meals they need to have a full stomach at night when they go to bed.
Oh, yeah. And it's not, I know in some cases, whenever you're talking about hungry kids, you might see someone from maybe a different state or even a different country, but this isn't that. And that Ashley's hit on that. And Share the Harvest has hit on that with Missouri Department of Conservation, that it's your neighbor, it's someone down the road. And with my mom, she was a teacher, and I come from a very large family of teachers, that having those kids you work so hard with, you can create such a bond, whether it's a little kid or even high schoolers. I mean, FFA kids, those are teenagers. And to see that struggle, I mean, just breaks your heart. So I'm glad that you guys are doing something. I know the Western Farm Show, just thinking back from FFA, they do a lot with this. They do a food drive, from my understanding, too. So FFA is really taking a bite out of this, quite literally.
Yeah.
But I know that there was a few other things that you had mentioned, Ashley and Karson, reviewing before this. And so I didn't know if you guys wanted to talk about your ag education on the move, and kind of explain that a little bit more.
Absolutely. So the expert, one of the experts in the state on ag education on the move, is actually Emily Hoyt, who would be Scott's intern this summer. But she is Missouri's last national proficiency award winner in ag education, and she made that accomplishment in large part by utilizing agriculture education on the move in her school, in high school, in Audrain County. And so she's a talent that I did not want to miss recognition, because she spent the last summer teaching children in Columbia Public Schools. And this is a program that I think is developing the next generation of agriculture teachers, which is exceptionally important, and one that we can't wait to see where leaders like Emily end up. And so the program fundamentally is delivering 10 weeks, an hour a week for 10 weeks of fundamental agriculture education. So you can't have informed consumers if they really have no connection and no idea as to where their food comes from. So the light bulb moments that happen in this program are really fun to watch. It is. I've seen kids peel eggs, and they'd never seen a hard-boiled egg before, let alone know about the basics of Missouri's poultry industry, or not know that their favorite burger comes from a cow that has been grown and raised to provide high quality protein packed food for them. And so there's a lot of epiphanies like that happen through this program as we deliver 10 weeks of ag education and hands-on activities to really drive the program home. This has been well received. We're going to talk about FFA probably throughout this whole conversation. This is another program in which FFA members, the best and brightest FFA members, are being mentored and trained through Ag Education on the Move to deliver this program in their third grade classrooms across the state. So imagine third graders looking up to their high schoolers, and they're a whole lot of receptive to those high school students, maybe more than they would be with an adult coming in to continue talking to them. So they get to see those kids that are role models for them in the school, and those student educators are able to share their passion and their knowledge about agriculture, and likely more often than not learn a little bit about agriculture facets that they weren't aware of when they started teaching ag education on the move. Thanks to the support of partners like MFA Oil, MFA Incorporated, Missouri Soybeans, Missouri Beef, and many others, this program is provided at no cost to Missouri schools. We know schools have a lot of demands on their resources, and we augment state standards and learning curriculum, so they're not sacrificing time in the classroom. We're helping prepare those students to the goals that have been set for them to learn in a given year. As to size and scope, we last year topped over 10,000 students, elementary students that received agriculture education on the move for 10 weeks, with the partnership of almost 500 FFA members. That's about 1/8 of the state's third graders. So that's a big impact, but we have a big growth goal to come. And so we are looking forward to reaching even more schools across the state. I think people who have spent time in schools know that proximity to a rural community does not necessarily equate to agricultural knowledge. And so this program is delivered in our rural communities as well as our urban communities, so that kids can understand the food supply chain, agriculture's importance in our economy, and the impact that it makes in their daily lives.
Oh, yeah. And I know that you had mentioned the best and brightest of FFA. Well, I mean, that's all FFA. Being a past FFA alumni, I definitely have to squeak that one out for sure. But Emily Hoyt, who was going to be in the footnotes on this podcast, supposedly now is the the diamond in the rough. And so I didn't know, could we pass the mic over there? So Emily, can you give me your side of this and kind of how has that evolved whenever you first started to the end of it? Because like they were saying, it's a 10-week hands-on activities. And like I said, being around a lot of kiddos for other things that I've been on, a lot of coffee.
Yeah, that is for sure. But I would like to think that I have kind of a unique experience with Ag on the Move, because as someone who didn't grow up in production agriculture, but rather kind of sat on the outskirts and watched it happen in front of me, I was kind of pulled into the MFA program here. I mean, here we are talking about MFA again, but that's how I got involved in agriculture. My ag teacher really took me under her wing, and she didn't really give me a choice. She kind of, put things at me and didn't let me tell her no. So that was exactly what happened with Ag on the Move. I started teaching that curriculum when I was a sophomore, 2018, I think it was. And so that was when the curriculum was brand new. I was trained by some, actually, you're going to laugh at this, but poorly put together videos that were just kind of like, here we are, okay, here's what you need to do, and off you go. And so I started with one class at St. Joseph Catholic School in Martinsburg, where my sister was a student of mine, and really helped evolve and push that into the classroom with the third grade class at my high school district, the school district where I went to high school, and mentored other students to then further that program throughout. And so when I was an intern last year, we took the videos that kind of gone away, and we took the training to a different level. And we now offer, or I guess Ag on the Move now offers 3 different training days across the state for FFA members and Ag Ed students to learn more about the curriculum and to better prepare them to be in that third grade classroom and teach third graders, so we're not sending those students in blind. I also used Ag on the Move during the pandemic when I was not in a super healthy mental state and the other people around me weren't. So that's what really kept me going. I kind of adapted those lessons and created my own videos, starting a platform on social media on Facebook called Little Farmers Learning More. And so I put all the curriculum tools and everything they need for the activities. I put them in a central location in town, and parents would come pick up those materials. They would watch the videos that I created on Facebook, and they were able to complete the activity and do the lesson just as we were in the classroom, just from a virtual setting. So that was really awesome. I had about 15 students of my own to do that. So I really like to think that I have seen the true growth of Ag on the Move, and it's something that I will always push my future students to do and always encourage anyone at FFA to do, because it's a really impactful program, not only for the third grade students in the state of Missouri, but like Ashley said, for those future ag teachers who are unsure or really sure that they want to teach in the classroom, because it can really kind of flip your perspective upside down when you really get that hands-on experience.
Oh yeah. I mean, and I feel like you guys are definitely a representation of that even though if you don't have that background of agriculture, you get that passion. And if you have that passion, you carry that over to your career, and you're very good at your career because you have that passion. And I can already see that in this interview. So glad I asked you guys.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I guess you squeaked me in on that one. Like, I was getting stuck on this podcast, but here I am.
Well, you did great. And I just have to also pat you on the back on the fact of how you pivoted whenever we had COVID, we had lockdown, but you were still able to bring out those videos for the kids, not only for yourself, but also for the kids. I mean, I work for a government agency, and it took them a lot longer than that to get things moving online. So great job.
Thank you.
She's a stellar example. Emily is a stellar example of the sort of leadership that we have. You're right. The organization, the young people coming up in FFA and Missouri agriculture give you some assurity that the future is strong and the future is bright across Missouri agriculture. We have 21 summer interns like Emily teaching across Missouri this summer. So from Cape Girardeau to St. Joe to Northeast Missouri, and every single day in every single Columbia Public School classroom, kids are getting to learn about agriculture. We hope that opens their eyes to the agriculture all around them, ultimately to careers and potential at home where their family and where they are rooted. So this is a type of program that makes you want to come to work every day and get excited about what's going on.
Yeah, and I definitely think it changes your thought of what a job or a career within agriculture is. Growing up, a lot of folks, they said, okay, you're just going to work on the farm. Are you going to do livestock? Are you going to do row crop? Are you going to be diversified? But I mean, this allows for folks to find their place, that next generation, like we discussed, on the operation, and so that they can continue that and actually strengthen their farm that has been carrying on for so many years. And so that is amazing. And I know, to kind of go on to our next one, so we also talked about the Missouri Agriculture Stewardship Award. That's going to be a new title out and about. And so Ashley, I didn't know if you wanted to start talking about that and how there has been a name change, and how folks can sign up and get excited for this new award.
Absolutely. So those that are regular readers of MFA's Today's Farmer will recognize an award program that has been in effect for 7 years now, called the Missouri Leopold Conservation Award Program. That, as you mentioned, has had a name change and will now be the Missouri Agricultural Stewardship Award. It is simply just a reflection of some modification of partnerships, that this is a in-state, in-house award, still with the same high criteria, judged by a panel of Missouri agricultural, conservation, and natural resource experts to select individuals that really embody the best of land management principles on working farms and ranches across the state. So we're looking to highlight and shout out to Missouri consumers the amazing science, technology, scholarship, thought process that goes behind farming and ranching today. This is a very scientific venture, as you often are discussing on this podcast, and everything that goes into the land management decisions that we make. The fact that you're your role at MFA, actually, Emily, the strong partnerships that we have with natural resources organizations across agriculture embodies the fact that Missouri farmers and ranchers are the largest private landholders in the state of Missouri, and two, really take that stewardship responsibility seriously. So this award nominations are open now. There's a week or two to get applications in. Applications are very straightforward. Essentially, we're wanting you to tell your farm story and the decision-making process behind the choices that you make on how you manage your operation. There are 7 examples of Missouri land stewards that are cataloged on our website that have been previous award recipients. We can't wait to see what the 8th award recipient will be this coming year. And this is not only a prestigious award, often it is recognized by the governor at the Governor's Conference on Agriculture. It's the highest level of land stewardship award that we have in this state. It also comes with a $5,000 honorarium just to recognize the good and highlight the good, and probably underwrite some of the expenses of those producers as we then ask them to hit the state and share their land management principles, which isn't a hard ask because many of the individuals are absolutely as passionate as Emily is about agricultural education. These people are passionate about land management and natural resources. And so we can't wait to continue telling that story and just to be the voice to amplify the amazing stewardship that goes on across the landscape in Missouri agriculture.
Oh, yeah. And reading just past applicants, just their what they submitted, I mean, they're very impressive, and it is very prestigious to get that award, just with how much they have to do on their operation and how highly they value conservation, just like MFA does. We definitely value conservation. And so I know you had talked about kind of when the deadline was, but excuse me if you hadn't said, where exactly do you sign up for that or submit that for it?
I didn't say that. Great question. So Missouri Farmers Care website has the portal for that application. Again, fairly short narrative and a couple letters of recommendation. We're asking for applications to be submitted by June 15th, and all the details on that can be found at mofarmerscare.com, and then Missouri Agriculture Stewardship Award is the tab. And all the details are there, and all the contact information for our organization is also out there. So any individuals that have questions are welcome to reach out to us and our team, and we will get right back with you. Karson will probably be handling any of those inquiries, and we'll be happy to help people as they look to see if that is an award that's right for them, and if they really are looking for that opportunity to share their story.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And that was also on our Today's Farmer magazine, like you had mentioned. It was in the May issue. So if our readers have that, you can crack that open and kind of get brushed up more on it. But was there anything else that you guys partner with or you wanted to showcase before we handed it over to Karson, where he can kind of elaborate more on his unique partner or his internship?
I would love Karson to have the opportunity to talk about agri-ready counties, which is his area of focus and emphasis this summer. I would just say the other element of Missouri Farmers Care is we do a partnership with the St. Louis Cardinals. It's fun, it's lighthearted. MFA Incorporated helps us dream up how we're going to tell consumers the farm story each year. So those who are Cards fans or listen in on Cards radio network, you'll hear Missouri farmers and ranchers telling their story. There are 3.3 million people that are dedicated Cardinals fans. And so what an opportunity for us to tell about Missouri agriculture, to connect them to real farmers and ranchers, to hopefully connect them to a source of information when they have questions about agriculture. That is really our intent there. And those that are in stadium can see videos of Fred Bird on the farm, can see life-size agriculture mascots racing around the outfield during games. And all of that is really just to bring attention back to, again, that industry that undergirds absolutely every part of the vitality of our state and our communities, and answer questions with consumers that may be a little bit more disconnected with agriculture. So it's a fun and lighthearted campaign, but definitely one that we see as valuable as we connect with Missouri consumers.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm not a Cardinals fan, but because I grew up on the other side, more of a Royals. I know. I hear boos. Hear the boos in the trucks. But that is amazing. I mean, especially with 3.3 million people, being fans. But yeah, truly amazing. But what else is truly amazing is Karson. And so if you would like to elaborate, she had mentioned that you had some agriculture-ready counties, or did I mishear her? Okay.
Yeah, so agri-ready designated counties, is a program of Missouri Farmers Care. For counties who are partnering with Missouri Farmers Care to promote the economic impact of the agriculture industry in their counties. Currently, 70 of Missouri's 114 counties have signed on with Missouri Farmers Care to become agri-ready designated. It's a voluntary program where Missouri Farmers Care, we are there to help support the county in their efforts to bring new agribusinesses and agricultural companies into their counties. One of the key highlights that I can think of from our partnership with agri-ready counties is in Warren County, where through a partnership with Warren County Economic Development, the Warren County Commission, Missouri Farmers Care, and through Missouri Economic Development, Missouri Partnership, we were able to bring American Foods Group to develop a plant in Warren County. And it was one of the key examples of where Missouri Farmers Care and what our role is going to be with those agri-ready counties. And so my main project this summer for my internship is reaching out to already existing agri-ready counties to see how Missouri Farmers Care can assist them in bringing new agribusinesses and agricultural companies to their county, but reaching out to counties that have not yet became agri-ready to see what we can do to have them sign on and to become agri-ready in the state. So I'm working on currently 5 counties, reaching out to 5 counties to get them designated this summer to become agri-ready, but hopefully one day we'll have all 114 counties become agri-ready, because we've mentioned this before on throughout the session, but it's Missouri agriculture is the number one industry in the state. And without it, our economy would not be as good as it is in Missouri. And so that's something I've had the opportunity to learn a lot about, and I'm quickly becoming passionate on getting an agri-ready sign at every county's border when you walk into the county. I know Lincoln County, where I'm from, driving on Highway 47 in from Warrenton, I smile every time I see "Welcome to Lincoln County, Agri-Ready designated." So it's just a smile that comes to my face and something I've been really passionate about this summer.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And so I know you were mentioning that there was a plant in Warren County. So can you explain exactly like what kind of plant was brought to that county?
Yeah, I was coming on new to this, and so I wasn't on the Missouri Farmers Care team when that was happening, but Ashley was on the Missouri Farmers Care team and played a heavy role. So if Ashley would like to touch on that, I think she has more expertise on that.
Absolutely. So we have been dreaming big in Missouri agriculture for a long time, and being the number 3 cow-calf state in the nation, really hope to see a strengthening of our cow-calf base that we have that is so very strong. We have amazing genetics in the state of Missouri, and then some additional on-farm feeding to add value to that group of top productivity calves that come out of our farm gates and off of our farms every fall. And then we were hoping just a couple years ago that 10 years down the road, maybe we would be able to attract a processor to the state of Missouri. Well, our attraction and recruitment efforts flipped that on their head, and we were able to welcome American Foods Group, the 5th largest beef processor, a family-owned company, to Missouri with their plant that they're building along I-70 in Warren County. Many of you can see it on the south side of 70 as you travel towards St. Louis. It is hard to miss. They will process over 2,000 head a day by the time that the plant is up and running fully, a mix of cull cows that are going to be turned into high quality ground beef, as well as fed cattle to turn into roasts and steaks and other high quality cuts of meat. And so we are really excited of the potential that offers all the way across the value chain in Missouri agriculture, and are appreciative to the partners that Karson mentioned that helped sell Missouri as a great place to do business, and Missouri agriculture as a place rich with resources and rich with entrepreneurs that would welcome those new opportunities with open arms.
Oh yeah, and especially just having that job opportunities for kind of those counties that are kind of lacking some jobs. I mean, that's going to help, that family not have to drive as far, but also help those farmers not have to haul as far. And so I could definitely see the benefit of all of that.
Yes, we visited their plant in Green Bay twice and took local producers up there to put their eyes on the ground and see the neighbor and the partner that American Foods Group is. And we saw pots pulling up there loaded with cattle. We also saw straight load trailers dropping off 1 or 2 head. And so no matter where someone is in production, scope, and size in Missouri agriculture, this plant can be a positive for them and their operation.
Oh yeah. And I didn't know, so you're really wanting to get a lot of folks signed up for this, counties. Mm-hmm. And so how does a county go about getting more information or getting their county signed up?
Yeah, so county can get more information to become Agri-Ready designated by visiting our website, which we've mentioned before, but MoFarmersCare.com, and then hitting on the Agri-Ready designated county tab. That'll give some more information about Agri-Ready designation and what steps to take to that. There's a quick application that county commissioners have to sign to say they support agriculture in their county and agriculture in Missouri. And then the Missouri Farmers Care team will review that and then grant as Agri-Ready designation, And so we've been trying to do a good job in reaching out to counties that are not Agri-Ready designated, have had agriculture leaders in counties reach out to us, say, why isn't our county designated yet? And what can we do to do that? So just this week, me and Ashley had the opportunity to go up to the DeKalb County in Maysville and meet with their county commissioners and their township board people and really share what agri-ready designated counties are about, because there can be some misunderstanding of what that partnership is. And it truly is a partnership where Missouri Farmers Care is wanting to help their county bring more agribusinesses in and really promote the economic development aspect of Missouri agriculture.
And that's very important, especially because I grew up in Caldwell County, which is just a hop, skip, and a jump right over there. And so that'll be really exciting to see that if they do become one with it. Let's talk about internships within MFA, because I don't know if it's something in the water. I don't know what Scott does, because good golly, these guys are, I'm worried for my job. But how does the internship go about? How do you get these individuals?
Good question. So we have an application process. We open the application September 1. We close it November 1st. And the goal behind that is that in that amount of time, we're able to look at candidates and look at applications and experience, and then have conversations with students and actually interview them. The mentors get to interview the students to make sure that it's a good fit, not just for the role, but make sure personality fit as well and culture fit is there. And so, me and my team, we travel all over really, in the fall to career fairs, and that's where we're able to talk to students, preferably students in agriculture, but also other majors as well. You know, we do lots of different things in agriculture, so we need IT folks, we need accounting interns, and even HR interns. And so having conversations with them at their colleges, and then just encouraging them to apply, and then we go through a hiring process just like we would for anybody else.
Oh, wow. And so you had mentioned that you can have the application deadline, but do they just go on to MFA's website to get that, or do they have to reach out to you directly?
Yeah, so just go to the career portal. So it's just mfa-inc.com/careers. And whenever those applications are released, they'll upload at the top of the page. So they will always just be at the top when the apps are open, and students can get in there and apply. And again, November 1st is the deadline on that, with all interns to be selected by Thanksgiving break. So students will know in the fall semester if they have an internship for the next summer. And it's a 12-week long internship. It is heavily project-based. So the goal behind it is that we take students from all areas of ag and we give them exposure and experiences in different parts of the company. And what's cool is that we can almost even just align that internship and the project to the students' educational and career goals. So what a great way to just sort of meet them where they are and help them gain an additional skill set in lots of different parts of agriculture, making them more valuable and making them feel more valuable. So that's kind of the high-level overview. This summer of 24, we have 14 student interns, and we also have a crop track program. So we have interns on that side of the company too that will do crop scouting and other things as well. And so I always want to make sure I give them a shout out, because they're important to the process as well.
And if I understand correctly, so like I mentioned, we have Makenna that's taking pictures and recording all of this. But you're also doing highlights, correct, on the Facebook page?
Yeah, so part of my summer project is to schedule times that I can go and kind of follow around each intern, crop track, and ag experience, and kind of see what they do on a day-to-day basis. Sometimes, like when I went to see Allie, she's out in the field, she's, treating soybean seeds. She's more of a hands-on outdoor. But then we also have people like our IT intern. So just trying to, highlight what they do on a daily basis, what their project is for the summer. So my project is to highlight their projects. And I've had a really great time just being able to see the different departments, aspects of MFA Incorporated. I've really gotten to see MFA from every point of view. And so that's really been interesting.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, that's amazing that you're able to highlight everybody and show, what they're doing, how they progress, how their job, and what they might do in the future with it. I know I really enjoyed looking at those last year on Facebook, but also any other little write-ups or videos It's really unique.
The other thing to add, I think that's important, is the students are sort of highlighting their experiences on LinkedIn and Facebook. So any of the viewers can catch them on social media and almost in real time see exactly what they're working on at that time.
So we mentioned you, Allie. So take the reins. You're the lady out in the field. I think I've butchered your boss's job description, but Matt Hill, you've been following him around kind of his location. So explain, I guess, what got you into this field, and then what are you trying to get out of it?
So I am kind of the path of the straight and narrow. So I'm a 5th generation row crop farmer. So I come from actually Lincoln County, 20 minutes from where Carson is. And so I grew up on the farm. I learned how to drive a tractor before I learned how to drive a truck, So I've grown up around crops my entire life. So I always knew that the ag industry is kind of where I wanted to end up. But figuring out where I belonged in the industry has kind of been more of like the process for me, because I do have experience in ag communications. So I've experienced kind of like Makenna and more of the creative contents kind of side of it. But I've always kind of feel like I was missing a part of the people-facing role, talking to the farmers, being out in the field, doing kind of like the more hands-on kind of stuff instead of more of like the behind-the-scenes stuff. So that's actually why I applied for the sales agronomy internship, because I was like, okay, I need to get out there somehow. I knew that with MFA that it was going to be not necessarily entry level, but I didn't need to have sales experience already to be able to do this. And with Scott being able to, they've really put a emphasis on ag experience, because I've been able to experience so many different kinds. I'm not just a sales intern, and I'm not just an agronomy intern. I've been riding around with our crop scouts. I've been riding around with Matt Hill, who is the district sales manager. And then I mainly have been also with Brett Elliott. He's a key account manager. So he is more of like Matt Hill, and kind of manages all the key account managers. And then Brent's the one out there actually with the farmers, calling the farmers every single day and making sure that what he sells them is what ends up in their field and what they're harvesting at the end of season. That's who they see every day is Brett, So being able to work with him has been really great. Lately, we've just been treating seed, we've been treating seed and been able to go out there and handle corn replants with all the rain that we've been having. And so I think my favorite part so far is being able to see the progress. Being able to see, okay, if we replanted this, or if we treated these soybeans, they've put in these 2 weeks ago. Okay, now they're starting to come up. They're getting this stage. When are we going to harvest them? What pests are coming up? When do we have to spray for weeds? Do we need to put nitrogen on? So being able to experience that throughout the summer, I think, is my favorite part. I think in my future, kind of finding my way in the ag industry, because I know I don't necessarily want to return to my family farm. I want to kind of help, kind of more of a bigger picture, I think. But I think I want to be definitely more of a people-facing role. So whether that's sales or not, I'm not 100% sure. But I'm definitely kind of figuring out my way, and know I really like it in the field. And being able to swing by and talk to the farmers and really try to help them in any way I can, whether it's giving them a phone call, or the discount on their replant to make sure that they can make ends meet. Since I come from a farming family, that's who I care about, is the farmers. So being able to experience that has been great so far.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So we're excited. But that's amazing that you're able to have that. And especially like we talked, come again full circle with the generational farming, trying to find your way in it.
Exactly.
That is what people coming into this need to find, is where do I fit, And so I know you had mentioned, which I'm pointing to Karson, is that you did not have that ag background, but you still had the passion, and it came from your father, correct?
Yeah, correct. So I am the third generation removed from my family farm, which was up in Ellsbury, Missouri, up in Lincoln County. But when my great-grandfather passed away, my great-grandma decided to sell the farm and move to Troy. And so I didn't have the opportunity to grow up on that family farm, but I still had a passion instilled for agriculture early on through my dad, because from growing up with his grandpa, he decided to become an agricultural education teacher and FFA advisor at Troy. And so growing up, I got to ride around with him, going to different students, SAE visits, supervised agricultural experience programs, getting to go to chapter events, getting to go down to Missouri FFA camp as a little toddler, getting to run around the campgrounds, not really knowing what FFA was, but knowing why it was important. And so throughout my life, I've always known that whatever I do, I want it to be in agriculture. And throughout my 4 years in agriculture education classes, I decided I want to be in the classroom, educating others about agriculture. And so I'm at the University of Missouri now, studying agricultural education, and had the opportunity to serve as a state FFA officer last year. And then through my opportunity this year, an internship with MFA Missouri Farmers Care, my 100% definite of wanting to go in the classroom has shifted back a little bit. But I know whatever I do, I want to be educating others. So whether that's being a traditional ag teacher, an FFA advisor in a classroom, or being out in the field, just talking with consumers who may not have that agricultural understanding, but doing something with agriculture and with education and developing the knowledge of agriculture and the leadership abilities of those students is something that I'm really passionate about. And hopefully I can continue to do that throughout my career once I graduate from a zoo.
I definitely think that's going to be the case. And I'm hearing that maybe we should have the creed. No, I'm joking. A lot of FFA.
That was my punishment growing up. But I got in trouble as a little 5-year-old. I was told to go say the FFA creed. So I always like the back of my hand.
Oh, I only know the first paragraph, and that is it. And that's been like 15 years. But that's amazing. So just to recap, because we've covered so many different things, and there's such a benefit of all these different things. We had the Missouri Farmers Care, which they went through their drive to feed the kids. They also had agriculture education on the move, and Emily Hoyt commented on that. And then we had Missouri Ag Stewardship Award, which is the new Leopold Award. And then we kind of dabbled just a little bit more into our internships of how to get signed up. And if you're wanting more information, you can go on to the MFA career portal and be able to sign up through September 1st through November 1st. And if you have any other questions, or if you're wanting to also get in with your agricultural diversity, I'm trying to remember what you brought up. It was the
Agri-ready designated counties.
We can go ahead and sign those up through Missouri Farmers Care on their website as well. But you can listen to this podcast on any other channel that you listen to podcasts. We also have YouTube that we have as well. And then, of course, our magazine is a big hit. So you should definitely subscribe to that and get some paper form. But thank you, everybody. And we really are looking forward to these interns getting hired on, because it will happen.
Thank you for listening to Made for Agriculture, brought to you by MFA, your whole farm solution.